Hi, hello, good afternoon and welcome to session 4 of Get to Know Your Welsh Gymnasts. Today, for this session, we have a number of different disciplines represented. We've got two of our fantastic aerobic gymnasts. We've got one of our rhythmic gymnasts. We've got a couple of our women's artistic squad gymnasts at different levels in the squad as well, different ages. And we've got some tumblers from all over Wales were represented today as well. So all disciplines, all areas of Wales. So I'm going to ask the gymnasts to introduce themselves. Then I'm going to hand over to our fantastic question mistress today, who's going to be leading the session. So if I can ask our first gymnast to introduce ourselves, and then we'll get the session started.
Hi, my name is Mia Bernardo. I'm 17 years old. I'm an aerobic gymnast and I train at Phoenix Dance and Gymnastics.
Hi, my name's Owen Roberts. I'm 11 years old. I'm a tumbler and I train in Aberystwyth.
Hi, I'm Yori Price and I do tumbling. I'm 13 years old and I train at Deeside Gymnastics Club.
Hi, I'm Imogen Jansen-Clyde. I'm 11 years old. I'm in the national squad and I train for Connecticut Rhythmic Gymnastics Academy.
Hi, I'm Hallie Sigalski. I'm 9 years old and I train at the Welsh Academy and I'm in GB squad.
I'm Emily James. I'm an aerobic gymnast. I train at Phoenix Dance and Gymnastics and also Bulmish Gymnastics, and I'm in GB squad.
Hello, I'm Fionn. I'm 11 years old. I train at Welsh Gymnastics and I'm also a GB gymnast.
Hi, I'm Amelia Thomas. I'm 15. I'm an artistic gymnast and I train at Sport Wales.
Hello, my name is Sophia McAuliffe. I train at Welsh Gymnastics. I'm 13 years old.
Fantastic, thank you everyone. I'm going to hand you over now to our fantastic question asker, Master of Ceremonies, and enjoy and have fun.
Hi, I'm Isabel. I'm 13 years old. I train at Deeside Gymnastics Academy. I'm an artistic gymnast and I do tumbling. So, Mia, how have you adapted your normal conditioning exercises to be home friendly?
Obviously, it's been really difficult to adapt your training from the gym to the house. But I've done it by making sure I've had a lot of space to do things, and by making sure before I attempt an exercise or a skill, I make sure I can do the skill before without assistance to ensure that I don't hurt myself or anything. And I also have mats to make sure I just protect myself and don't hurt myself further.
Thank you. Owen, how have you adapted your normal conditioning exercises to be home friendly?
At the start, I found it quite hard in my club because we only had a piece of paper and we did it every day. But we did do Zoom sessions and I've got a mat, so now I can, so now the conditioning can not hurt myself and I get it a lot easier with the mat. And I find with Zoom sessions, I can get it a lot faster and a lot easier.
Thank you. Emily, how have you adapted your normal conditioning exercises to be home friendly?
Obviously, it's hard in a house if you don't have enough space and everything, but I bought an 8-track and was able to use the 8-track inside the house and outside, because obviously when it was sunny, I was able to take the 8-track outside and be able to do stuff with a load of space and not be scared to hurt myself by kicking the walls or something. But it's been better now because we're doing more Zoom sessions and being able to do more conditioning and strength work rather than routines again.
Okay, thank you. Hallie, how have you adapted your normal conditioning exercises to be home friendly?
I'm lucky that I have some equipment at home, and my old club VJ gave me some that I didn't have. I'm really careful because I don't have much space at home. I've been more independent and motivated as I don't have the coaches at home.
Thank you, Hallie. So Imogen, how have you adapted your normal conditioning exercises to be home friendly?
Well, I found it really hard at first, obviously, but I started to get the hang of it, and the coaches helped me really well over Zoom sessions. I started putting yoga mats and blankets and stuff on the floor, so the floor wasn't hard. I didn't hurt myself, and when it comes to doing stuff, I've been using more of apparatus to do lots of the stuff, and when it's sunny, I go outside to do some of my masteries and throws.
Thank you. Yori, how have you adapted your normal conditioning exercises to be home friendly?
Well, at the start, I found it a bit hard because we didn't have good internet, so I couldn't do much Zoom. I didn't have a lot of equipment, but every time I had to have Zoom, I went on to try, but I lost connection. So eventually I started doing my own conditioning and stuff, and then my mum and dad brought me an air track, and when it was sunny and it weren't, I was on the air track doing some tumbling.
Fionn, how have you adapted your normal conditioning exercises to be home friendly?
Our coaches have been doing Zoom sessions with us, and they've made the exercises suitable and safe for at home for us. And we've been having to adapt some of the things. So if we didn't have blocks, we'd have to use our settees, and using water bottles as weights and things like that. And obviously it's hard with not a lot of equipment around you, but we've tried to get as much as we can, and our coaches have made a home program for us sometimes, and we do that sometimes.
Thank you. Sophia, how have you adapted your normal conditioning exercises to be home friendly?
I've adapted my home conditioning to be home friendly because by turning my office into a gym, so it helps me with all my conditioning, and all the Zoom sessions I've been doing with all my coaches and my teammates have really helped me to keep going with gymnastics.
Thank you. And Amelia, how have you adapted your normal conditioning exercises to be home friendly?
I have adapted my conditioning to be home friendly by making sure that I have enough space to be able to do the exercises properly. And I built a bar in my house so that I could still do some exercises at home. And we also did Zooms with our coaches and teammates, which really helped me stay motivated.
Thank you. So the next question is, did you participate in any other sport before gymnastics, or are there any other sports that you feel you'd be good at? So Mia, did you participate in any other sport before gymnastics, or are there any other sports that you feel you'd be good at?
So I've been doing aerobic gymnastics pretty much all my life, since the age of 4. But I did go through a period of time where I went to a street dance club, but I had to unfortunately give that up due to training requirements in both clubs, and they were sort of just not going right. So I had to give that up. But we do a lot of dance within the club, and I'd like to try and take that further and maybe attempt some lyrical dances or something.
Thank you. Owen, did you participate in any other sport before gymnastics, or are there any other sports that you feel you'd be good at?
Yeah, I've basically been doing tumbling all my life since my parents took me to my first gymnastics session. And then maybe 3 years after, I started to swim and play football. And I've been doing other sports as well, but I think football and swimming were my strongest with gymnastics.
Okay, thank you. Emily, did you participate in any other sport before gymnastics, or are there any other sports that you feel you'd be good at?
I've done a lot of different sports to try and figure out which one I've become the best at. I did diving, athletics. I did ballet when I was little, and I only started aerobics when I was 9. And that's all that I've done since then. I had to give up diving, but I realized it was the best option at the time because I got into the GB squad, obviously. And I have started doing dance in a different club as well. So.
Thank you. Hallie, did you participate in any other sport before gymnastics, or are there any other sports that you feel you'd be good at?
I did ballet and swimming when I was little, and now I'm doing horse riding. I picked that up really quickly because of my balance was good from gym.
Okay, thank you. Imogen, did you participate in any other sport before gymnastics, or are there any other sports that you feel you'd be good at?
When I was 3 years old, I did artistic gymnastics, but then I quit that when I was 4. And then I started Stagecoach, but I had to quit that because I had more training on different days, so I had to quit that due to training. But I also feel like I do like lots of running in school and stuff, and I'm quite good at that, so.
Thank you. Yori, did you participate in any other sport before gymnastics, or are there any other sports that you feel you'd be good at?
I did football before gymnastics, and then when I was 8 years old, I started gymnastics, but I did climbing at the same time because I was only in Eddie then. And then I moved on to D side, and then when I started high school, I thought I could do rugby and cross country because I did really good in them. So yeah.
Thank you. Fionn, did you participate in any other sport before gymnastics, or are there any other sports that you feel you'd be good at?
I started artistic gymnastics when I was 5, and gymnastics is the only sport I've done ever since. If I didn't do gymnastics, I think I would be good at probably dancing, athletics, or netball. And those like are the sports maybe I could do after gymnastics if I was.
Thank you. And Sophia, did you participate in any other sport before gymnastics, or are there any other sports that you feel you'd be good at?
Yes, I did. I did dance, swimming and running. And I felt like if I didn't do gymnastics, I would be quite good at running, as I really enjoyed it, and I would probably go for the 100 or 2 meters sprint.
And Amelia, did you participate in any other sports before gymnastics, or are there any other sports that you feel you'd be good at?
When I was younger, I used to do dance, but I started gym about 3. So once I got into the Welsh squad, I stopped doing dance as I had many hours of gym. If I didn't do gymnastics, I feel like I would be quite good at athletics, as I quite like running.
Thank you. The next question is, what are your plans for the future in and outside of gymnastics? So, Mia, what are your plans for the future in and outside of gymnastics?
So within gymnastics, I hope to become an aerobic coach and develop skills as a coach, and maybe become a judge maybe for the sport. I have also recently just qualified as a teaching assistant, and I'd like to take that further as well.
Thank you. Owen, what are your plans for the future in and outside of gymnastics?
Inside gymnastics, like this year, I really wanted to get in the Welsh squad, and I got in. And now I really want to push myself even further to get in the British squad. And then outside gymnastics, I like to sing and act. And if my gymnastics doesn't go well, then I can go with singing and acting. But I think I'm feeling a bit positive that my gymnastics will go quite well.
Thank you, Owen. Emily, what are your plans for the future in and outside of gymnastics?
Most of my plans are probably within gymnastics, really, because I'm going to be doing my level 1, 2 and 3 in judging, maybe, and coaching. I want to get mentored by the top coaches in the country to be the top coach that people would want me to come to their club to coach for them potentially.
Thank you, Emily. Hallie, what are your plans for the future in and outside of gymnastics?
I hope to make it to British finals again and compulsories and make GB pathway squad again. When I'm older, I would like to compete at British championships and win a medal. And I hope that I do better with my horse riding.
Thank you, Hallie. Imogen, what are your plans for the future in and outside of gymnastics?
Well, I did get into British last year, but I couldn't because of lockdown. So I'm hoping to get back into British next year, compete there. And if that goes well, then I'm just hoping to get into the Commonwealth 2026. When I'm older, I'm not quite sure what I want to do when I'm like older outside of gym yet, but I do want to become a coach.
Thank you. Yori, what are your plans for the future in and outside of gymnastics?
Inside gymnastics, I would like, because I got into Welsh squad this year, I'm hoping that I could progress to get into the British tumbling to do more with that. With gymnastics as well, I would like to become a coach, but if that doesn't go well outside of gymnastics, I would like to become an engineer.
Thank you, Yori. Fiona, what are your plans for your future in and outside of gymnastics?
I would love to reach the Commonwealth Games in a few years and maybe the Olympics as well. With outside as well, gymnastics, I would love to try and be a physiotherapist or even a gym coach.
Thank you, Fiona. Sophia, what are your plans for the future in and outside of gymnastics?
Inside the gym, I would really like to try and get into the British squad, as I was quite close last year, and try and get to the Commonwealth. And in my future terms, I would really either be a gym coach or a physio.
Thank you. And Amelia, what are your plans for the future in and outside of gymnastics?
In gymnastics, I really want to improve my bars and go to the Commonwealth Games. And then outside of gymnastics, I'd love to pass my GCSEs and maybe study medicine in university.
Thank you. The next question I have is, what or who inspires and pushes you to better yourself in gymnastics? So Mia, what or who inspires and pushes you to better yourself in gymnastics?
I think that my coaches, Laura and Emma, inspire me the most because they push me to better myself and they help me to like bring back my confidence and help me gain confidence within the sport again.
Thank you. Owen, what or who inspires and pushes you on a daily to better yourself in gymnastics?
Well, my family and my friends gave me confidence when I went to the British semi-finals and the finals. And because my club couldn't do a lot of Zoom sessions over lockdown, I think now Wilson as a gymnast will inspire me, and Maria.
Thank you, Owen. Emily, what or who inspires and pushes you to better yourself in gymnastics?
Mainly my coaches, because I've been going up to England and back. Obviously, it's quite hard staying motivated. So my sister, obviously being the coach of one of the clubs, she's kept me involved in everything. And also the people I'm training with, because the friendly competition keeps me going rather than just being stuck doing a skill that I can't do. They'll help me and think of other ways to train the skill to get it.
Thank you. Hallie, what or who inspires and pushes you to better yourself in gymnastics?
My coaches and my family, because they all believe in me.
Thank you, Hallie. Imogen, what or who inspires and pushes you to better yourself in gymnastics?
My coaches do really well in motivating me and helping me to do stuff, but also my family and friends and school friends and teachers and stuff, as I tell them lots about my gym. And and also the Arena twins, who are older than me but are also rhythmic gymnasts.
Thank you. Yori, what or who inspires and pushes you to better yourself in gymnastics?
My coach Claire, she pushes me to do more stuff and help me learn more stuff. She motivates me to do stuff and she helps. And I think someone else, Wells, I've been when I was the one time in Welsh squad with Josh. He helped me get my flicks better.
Thank you. Fionn, what or who inspires and pushes you to better yourself in gymnastics?
My family and my coaches, Liv, Ray and Tracy. If I got something wrong, they would tell me to help me improve and to just help me with more skills and teach me and make them more elegant on all pieces and things like that.
Thank you, Fionn. Sophia, what or who inspires and pushes you to better yourself in gymnastics?
I would say my family and my coaches. They help me when I'm going through hard times, and yeah, that's pretty much.
Okay, thank you. And Amelia, what or who inspires and pushes you to better yourself in gymnastics?
Both my coaches and teammates help and motivate me, especially during lockdown. They've really helped me push myself.
Thank you. My final question is, are there any skills you were learning before lockdown that you have managed to achieve after starting training again? So Mia, are there any skills you were learning before lockdown that you have managed to achieve now we've started training again?
So I've managed to achieve and better my push-up landing skills. During lockdown, I done a lot of like arm strength training to make sure I was strong enough to do the skill. And then when the gyms opened back up, then I managed to get the skill just before we've gone back into lockdown.
Thank you. Owen, are there any skills you were learning before lockdown that you have managed to achieve now that we have started training again?
With like on Zooms, I was doing upper arms, legs, core, and like all over bodies. And before lockdown, I was doing flick, 2 whips, 3 flicks, tuck. And then, of course, because we went into lockdown, I couldn't train. And then after lockdown, I managed to get the trick I really wanted to do, which is 5-1 tuck.
Thank you. Emily, are there any skills you were learning before lockdown that you have managed to achieve now that we've started training again?
Like Mia, we've been doing a lot of arm conditioning to maintain our strength in our arms, because a lot of skills we do have to do with arm strength, push-up landings and high V's and stuff. And that little amount of time we were back in the gym, I was able to complete a full turn straddle to push and score it nicely, just before we've gone back into lockdown.
Thank you. Hallie, are there any skills you were learning before lockdown that you have managed to achieve now that we started training again?
I've got all my skills back on bars and I feel much stronger than last time.
Okay, thank you, Hallie. Imogen, are there any skills you were learning before lockdown that you have managed to achieve now that we've started training again?
Before lockdown, I did a lot of S&C training with in Sport Wales. So when we were in lockdown, we did lots of like strength and conditioning. So I think I've got better than that. And just before we go into lockdown, I was doing a lot of masteries and throws with a lot of apparatus, and I couldn't quite get one wrist, but I've got the hang of it now once I got back into gym.
Thank you. Yori, are there any skills you were learning before lockdown that you have managed to achieve now that we're training again?
Before we went into lockdown, we were practicing front semis and some were doing doubles. And I was doing round a flick, whip flick, but I had to self-isolate for 1 week. So I couldn't do the last week of gymnastics. And when I got back into gym, we didn't have a tumble track, so we went on to trumpet and we did double front semis, and I was able to get my double front semis.
Fionn, are there any skills you were learning before lockdown that you have managed to achieve now that we are training again?
When we went into lockdown, we did a lot of Zooms and we did a lot of conditioning on them. So when we got back, all of our skills were much easier to get back. My flick lays were much easier on beam to get back, and my double back on fast track was much easier to get back.
Thank you, Fionn. Sophia, are there any skills you were learning before lockdown that you have managed to achieve now we are training again?
I think the biggest skill that I achieved after lockdown was my Jaeger, because I really struggled with it before lockdown, but with all my Zooms I've been getting stronger, so I can get it back.
Thank you. And Amelia, are there any skills you were learning before lockdown that you have managed to achieve now we are training again?
I wouldn't say there was any specific skills, but during lockdown we did loads of preps and focused on the preps of skills. So it helped gain confidence when I went back into the gym so that I wasn't scared to do any.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Well done. Well, I've learnt something about you all today. So I think the overarching message here is that you are all very determined. I think it's all really interesting as well when you were asked the question about what your plans are outside a gym. Every single one of you mentioned something to do with sport. A lot of physios. So you've obviously all had really good experiences with physios, but there wasn't anyone that said something completely different. Millie, medicine. Are we going to see you winning the Nobel Prize at some stage in the future, do you think? I bet we will. And Imogen, I think it's really it's really comforting for me to hear that you've got that support of your school, your teachers in your school, because I don't think a lot of schools are as supportive as others. So it's really nice that you gave them a bit of a shout out there. And it's really, really nice to hear that a lot of you, well, all of you actually, are all inspired by your coaches, followed by family and friends, obviously. So it's nice to see that you've all got that good working relationship and that your coaches are doing such an amazing job. So thank you very much for sharing. Thank you, Isabel. Really good questions there. I know there was one or two questions you weren't expecting, but we thought we'd push you. And I think you all did very, very well. So good luck in your future endeavours, everyone. No doubt we'll all see you again soon. You can all go and have a nice cup of tea now. I would say a bourbon, maybe, or a Halloween treat, perhaps. Have a happy Halloween, and thank you very much. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.